Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is. Welcome to Miss Perkins' literature class. Hello and welcome to day 4 of learning. But before we get into our lesson, I want to show you my college t-shirt. I went to Virginia Union University, and I'm very proud of going to Virginia Union University. I can't begin to tell you how amazing of an experience it was, and that I hope that this might inspire you to look into what are going to be your next steps after you finish, you graduate from high school. So just wanted to give a shout out to Virginia Union and all the people that went there. Okay, so let's start with today's lesson. I'm going to share my screen with you. And remember, last time I talked to you about, us deep diving. The further we go into our lesson, the deeper we're going into the pool, right? So we started off at the shallow end of the pool, very surface level reading, right? We've just taken a glance, looking over the text. Then we went into like the 2 feet, 3 feet portion of the pool. And so today we are about to jump headfirst into the 10 feet section of the pool to begin our deep diving. So before we jump all the way into the pool, let's do a quick review. So we know that when we see nonfiction text features, when we see heading, or photographs, or illustrations, or captions, or bold print, or italicized words that pop out on the paper, we know, or pop out of the paper, we know that the text is going to be like nonfiction text, right? It's going to be text that is based on real events, real people, real places, real things, real ideas, okay? And we can just look at that. We don't have to like read the text deeply. We could just look over the text, look at those text features and say, based on those text features, I know that this is going to be nonfiction text. So next thing we went into were, where could we find these nonfiction text features? We discovered that we can find them in the newspaper. We can find them in your textbook. We can find them in a brochure. We could find them in a game board directions, right? Or any type of direction. Then we talked about, okay, so we know about the nonfiction text features. We know where we can find them. So then let's start. We know what nonfiction text is. So now, what's the author's purpose for writing nonfiction text? And so we review that the author's purpose for nonfiction text is to either inform, provide us with information about something, persuade, try to get us to do something. That's the author's purpose. They're trying to get us to do something or take on their point of view. And then another one is explain. The author's trying to tell us how to do something, okay? So we're piecing all of this together. So author's purpose is to inform. When you have like a newspaper article, right? The newspaper article, they're usually informing you of something. In a brochure, like for an amusement park or a vacation place, the author's purpose is to persuade, try to get you to do something, to go somewhere. Okay, that water looks amazing and it is very persuasive. It makes me want to go. The next one is explain. So again, in board game directions, the author is telling you how to do something. Same way in a cookbook, or the same thing in directions on how to put something together. Okay, the author is explaining, telling you how to do something. So the 3 types of nonfiction author's purpose that we've reviewed are: 1, inform, provides information; 2, persuade, gets us to do something; or 3, explain, tells us how to do something. So our strategy that we use for using text features to make predictions. See, before reading, during reading, after reading strategy. So before reading, we looked at the text features and we made our predictions. And you guys made fabulous predictions about the genre, the author's purpose, and the main idea. Then we read and we looked for important details from the text so we could figure out, are we on the right track or do we need to change our thinking just a little bit? And then after it was all said and done, after reading, we were able to confirm whether we were able to confirm our predictions as right, or we found that we might have needed to revise our prediction because it wasn't completely correct. So then we started thinking about, okay, so now that we have all those, let's start looking at those supporting details, right? Information that explains, tells, or proves the main idea. And we use those supporting details as given information that we put together with our own experience to figure something out, which is called an inference. So we use the information from the text that we read and our own experience, our own background knowledge to make an educated guess, to figure something out, to make an inference. Okay? So when you make an educated guess or you're figuring something out, you're making an inference. So then we thought about that a little, and then we went into our second strategy, which was making an inference with nonfiction text. So we used text details as our first step. We looked at those. We thought about our own experience, and then from there, we made inferences. So we pulled our text details from here, and this shouldn't say your practice because this was our practice yesterday when we went over this together. So we said 90% of students have been affected by the school closures. That was a detail that came from the text. My experience, I know that 100% means everyone. The inference, there's a small group of students that have not been affected by school closures. Maybe it's not bad in some areas. So then the next detail was most learning is taking place online in virtual classrooms. My experience, this is not normal or what we have done in the past. My inference, this type of learning is new for everyone and we are all having to get used to this new setting. The last one, the pandemic that I'm going to include on here, the pandemic has highlighted the digital divide. I know some people who don't have computers. All students not having access is unfair. Okay, so those are just some of the examples from yesterday. So then you were charged with going home or thinking about, not going home because you're already at home, thinking about these two lines of text details. So teachers are getting creative too. So your job was to think about what was your experience, what has been your experience with teachers getting creative with providing instruction. And then from there, you were going to make an inference. So for me, my experience, teachers are making videos, meeting with students over the computer and calling students on the phone. So when I put these two together, I'm able to make the inference that teachers care about their students' learning and they want to stay connected with their students. So I want you to put me on pause. I want you to find somebody in your house and I want you to share with them your text details, your experience, and the inference that you were able to make. And if they need some assistance on determining what an inference is, you know all there needs to be known or all you need to know about an inference. So please explain to them what an inference is if they don't know. So go ahead and pause me. I'm going to move on. When you're finished sharing, then come back and press play. The next text detail was students are stepping up and helping each other. So in my experience, students are meeting with teachers online during assignments that teachers have given them and sending in fun videos of their learning. So I put my text details, my experience together, and the inference that I'm able or was able to make was Students are showing that they also care about their learning and being connected to their learning community. Excellent job. Pause me, share the second one, and come right back. But you guys are doing an amazing job. We're doing so much heavy lifting, um, but you got it. So go ahead and pause me, and I'm going to keep rolling. The next part of our lesson is I can use my inferences to draw conclusions about what I have read. All right, so now we get to put our inferences together, the ones that we made yesterday, and we're able to draw a big conclusion, right? A big educated guess. So my first inference that I included was all students not having access is unfair. The next inference is school districts care about all of their students because they are searching for ways to help all students. And then my last one, teachers care about their students' learning and they want to stay connected with their students. So I thought about all three of those inferences that I was able to make from text evidence from yesterday, our text details that we discussed, and I came up with school districts and teachers realize that it is unfortunate that all students do not have technology and are doing their part to make sure that all of their students are learning. So I know that you guys don't mind this extra comma, but I do. Gotta take that out of there and put that back. All right. So from all my detail and inferences, all students not having access is unfair. School districts care about all of their students and teachers care about their students' learning. I was able to draw the conclusion school districts and teachers realize that it is unfortunate that all students do not have technology and are doing their part to make sure that all of their students are learning. And that's how you draw a conclusion. You take all your little inferences, you put them together, and then you see what educated guess from all of this information. What do I take away from my inferences? So, your practice, based on what I have read and the inferences that I have made, I can conclude that. So, for your additional practice, you are going to get this chart and you're going to put the inferences that you made into the chart. I don't know where my mouse is. There it is. You'll put your inferences here, 3 of them. And you could take one of mine because you only had 2, right? So you'll take your 2 and take one of mine to draw a conclusion. And then you will write this sentence frame and you will add your conclusion at the end. So based on what I have read and the inferences that I have made, I can conclude that school districts and teachers realize that it is unfortunate that all students do not have technology and are doing their part to make sure that all of their students are learning. Okay? And that's it. So that is all for today's lesson. You guys, as usual, did a fantabulous job. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Bye.